Today we got a brand new trailer for the upcoming map, The Shattered Veil, and this is not as long as you would hope. It's about a minute long of a trailer, which isn't ideal, but there's still a decent amount of stuff in here that I think is very much worth breaking down, and we're going to definitely do that. But there's also something that I think a lot of people are overlooking, and that's two story aspects that they have said in this trailer that I think are very fascinating. But with that said, I know you guys are excited for this stuff, so drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into this breakdown. Now, the first thing worth breaking out is like right in this, what I believe to be the spawn room, because first thing we see this wall buy for the pump shotgun right on the wall. But then if we go a little bit more, we have this shot of the four characters. But if we look in the background, we can see a map. And I believe this is the layout of this map. I don't know if it's the entirety of this map. It may just be a portion of it, but I do think this is also a mystery box spawn. So that might be the main purpose of this, just to show you where the mystery box is, because we do see a lot of these tag maps around the map, as you guys will see. After this, we get the money shot, and this of course is the, I guess, entrance where the whole T-Rex is, and that looks pretty cool, dude. I hope it's going to be a T-Rex boss fight. Maybe it's too much to ask for, but it would be really cool. But either way, though, we do see the arsenal machine on the right over here, and we do see a door with what I believe to be a trap right here. We'll actually see what trap this is later, I believe, in this trailer. Then, of course, we see another wall buy behind the T-Rex, so you can get up there and right below the T-Rex, which is cool. We also do see some sparking in the top right corner, and I'm not sure what that is, but it is something worth pointing out, I guess. Right here we see our three characters, but we do see a switch next to him, which I believe is also a trap. In this one we see for sure. And there's something here that happens, and I want you to just keep an eye on it and just note it in the back of your head for now, because we'll come back to this later in the video. But you do see here, and in a couple other shots, that there's actually some, I guess, a kid toys thing, which is weird. Like, you see this kid stuff, and it's really weird why this would be in the mansion, another area with a bunch of kid toys and a kid room and everything with a kid bed. That is very interesting, and we'll come back to that later, because there's also some sound effects that are playing right here, just kids playing, which is definitely interesting, but we'll come back to that when we get to the story stuff. Either way, though, we get into this room further, and we do see PhD Flopper is in this room with all this kid toys, which there's just way too many stuff. Like, these are multiple kid rooms. And also we have the duck. I am that duck. Is that quote like a throwback all the way to the original Ether story? I don't know. Either way, though, we do see a bit more of that room. But then from here, we actually see another tac map in this very strange room, and I think there's something more important here that we'll get into in a second. But see another tac map right here. But if we look at this portrait on the wall here, you could also see that, much like the original teaser image where we saw the guy from the Order having something built around his portrait, we see that here again. And I'm now questioning if every portrait is important in this map, or at least there's going to be a couple portraits that are important instead of just that one. And then here we actually see one of the traps being used, and it's literally a guardian of a trap. If you guys remember the guardian streak from multiplayer, they turn it into a trap, except it looks a lot more powerful. But in the background, we can start to see something behind here. We see a perk back here, and I think we see the same area later, and I think it is stamina, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But for now, we get our new returning perk, which is double tap root beer. Got a new makeover, and honestly, I didn't think I wanted a makeover, but this is kind of looks sick. I kind of like how it looks. How there's just a zombie in there just shooting when you buy it. That's pretty sick. But we'll, of course, in a future video talk about what all the abilities and augments are for double tap. But before we go too far past this, if we look in the background, we see some targets. So I wonder if this is going to be a side Easter egg, or what this really is going to be. It might be even a main Easter egg step or something like that. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's a way to get free double tap or something like that. I don't know. Now we get this shot that I'm not sure where it's at, but we do see level 2, or I guess level 3 armor. But the main thing here is that we see this. This should be familiar to a lot of people, because this is the elevator from the intro cutscene to Liberty Falls, because this is where Richtofen was trying to go down to before he got zapped away. Either way, we can see when we actually initially open this elevator, zombies are going to hop out of it, then it's just going to fall to the bottom. But then you can zip line to the bottom, and before we get down to there, let's stop right here, because we actually see the camo for this map. It looks like it's going to have these symbols that we've seen in relation to, I guess, chaos story stuff, especially the Sentinel artifacts. It's literally on the Sentinel artifacts, so interesting camo. I can't say I'm a big fan of it off the get-go, but it is interesting. But then, oh, you guys saw it. There it is, the crazy thing. We see the Sam AI with full control over the Forsaken's essence. And I'm very curious to see Weaver's and like everybody but Maya's reaction to this, because they should all know exactly what this means, that the Sam AI took over the Forsaken orb. Like, they know how powerful the Forsaken is. They should know how crazy this is that the Sam AI has complete control over it. Like, this should be a huge reveal to our characters, so I'm very excited to see what this is going to mean for them. But either way, we actually see more of this area here, and it actually turns out that this laboratory area down below is actually a bit larger than we have expected, which we'll see in a bit. But before we get that, we see the return of the Raygun Mark II. It is back, and what we actually see here is that each character has a Raygun Mark II, which isn't too crazy because everybody can get the Raygun Mark II before. But what we've learned later in this game, or from the blog post, is that there's actually 4 variants of the Raygun. There's the default one, and there's like just other ones that are called WP and something else, but that'll be for the blog breakdown that I'll do after this video. Either way though, this is another crazy shot of this. I even see this one earlier, but you can see the zombies kind of spawning down here, and you can kind of see the action of how some of them I think are shooting. Maybe that's just a regular Raygun Mark II. I'm not sure. Just look at the burst. And then we see their newish enemies, but I think these are just a slight reskin from the Chaos story, because they look like those plague zombies that we actually had in that, or you had like different variants, all the elemental zombies that would spawn every round. It looks just like the plague ones are returning, which were probably the least annoying ones out of all of them, but they are definitely back and they are here. But then we see another wonder weapon returning, and it's going to be the Wonder Waff. So this has actually been rumored forever, ever since we saw like the intro cutscene to Liberty Falls, that this wonder weapon was going to be back. So this isn't too shocking, but it is at least confirmed that it is here. So that is definitely a thing. Now, of course, we see more of this underground area, or what I think is a continuation of this lab, a lot bigger than we initially thought. But if we do look in this background, not only do we see kind of an area that I believe is probably a purchasable door, or maybe it's an Easter egg door, but also we do see a gobblegum machine over here. And speaking of that gobblegum machine, you can actually see them buying it, and we have a brand new gobblegum. Now, from the blog post, we actually learned that this gives you pretty much every single streak in the game, which is cool, I guess. I don't know, we'll see how crazy it is. Well, obviously here you see it doing this one, and just shoots into the zombies, nothing too crazy. But then we see the return and reskin of another zombie, and this is a disciple from Cold War Zombie. And I believe its abilities are slightly different, but for sure, as we know from looking at this alone, is that it looks a lot different. It looks like it is literally one of the people from the Order, like literally wearing the occult gear from what we saw in the Chaos storyline. It's wearing that and has the symbols from the Chaos storyline too, so it looks like it's going to play into that, which is, it's cool, don't get me wrong, it looks really cool, but I feel like it shouldn't be the disciple. It should have been a new enemy altogether. And I don't know if this is going to be a special enemy like it was in Cold War, or if it's going to be, I guess, an elite in this map, because you do see it just do something here. I'm not sure what this is. Does it just die here, teleport away, or what? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm assuming it's going to work similar to how it did in Cold War, where it buffs the zombies around him. As you can see, the zombie has white eyes now, probably because he's buffed by him, so there's that. But then we see that we're actually going to have the death machine back. It is returning in this map, which is cool, but I do think it's unlocked through an event, so you're not going to be able to just get it right away. You have to complete the event, and of course we'll see what happens after that. But we do see here that there's a parasite in the sky, but there's also these, I guess, things coming down. I don't know, these lights coming down, and I don't know if this is like souls being collected or what, but that's going to be a thing too. And then we do see another tac map, which again I think is for the boxes. And with that, that's all the gameplay stuff that's worth breaking down. Now there is one final thing that this ends off, and I want to play that clip for you now.
You don't trust me, fine, but you cannot trust her.
So yeah, that's literally Richtofen, and he's actively talking to us because I was a bit worried what was going to happen here is that we were just going to listen to radios of Richtofen. We were still not going to find him, but it appears that the Sam AI is actually keeping him somewhere prisoned here, I'm assuming. But now I feel like what's going to happen here is that throughout this Easter egg, our characters are going to decide which one to side with, the Sam AI or Richtofen, because they all know they hate Richtofen. That's why he says, if you don't trust me, you can't, like he knows like they don't trust him, right? But he says, if you can't trust me, I mean, just know you can't trust her either, right? He's not telling you to trust him, he's just saying don't trust her either. And I think when we go down underground, we'll see that she controls the Forsaken Orb. I think that will have a little bit of change of heart for our character crews. But of course, the only other thing that I think is worth bringing up here is all this kid stuff that you see throughout the mansion. Like, if it was just one room with kid stuff, it'd be one thing, but there's like multiple, and I'm kind of confused why, because there shouldn't be any kids here, because keep in mind, Richtofen's kid is probably in the dark ether, or maybe dead, you never really know. But either way, you can see that there is a lot of that kid stuff, and you even hear that kid sound effect, and I'm kind of curious why. Did Richtofen set this up because he thought he was going to save his family and have this ray for all his kid, or what? What is exactly the point of all this, and why is it all here? Or is this some other kid entirely? Just something that I think is also worth to keep in the back of your head when we get into this map's release. But with that said, that's going to wrap it up from me. Let me know if I missed anything down in the comment section below, or if I needed to expand on anything like that. Just let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.